side. Hello, hello, hello. Jessica, hello. So good to see you here today.
Hey, Kelly.
Hey. All right. So we went live almost everywhere. Instagram did not work for us. So you might see my eyes darting around a little bit trying to get us live on Instagram. But
Yeah.
in the meantime, I'm glad everyone is here today. You guys give us a comment. Let us know if you're here. I want to hear from you about your plans for next year. So we are coming live every week during December. Of course, we will not come live on Christmas, but for 3 weeks during December. And then, Jessica, hopefully January 8th, you can be with me. Would that be okay with you?
Yeah, I should be here.
Yeah, that'd be the first week in the new year because Christmas lands on a Wednesday. January 1st is Wednesday. So we are coming live for you 4 times, and we want to talk about the trends in fitness and health and wellness that affect you and that can potentially grow your business. So today we've brought you 2, one from each of us. Last week we did the same. If you have not seen that episode, go back into the feed, take a look at it. It's in the featured area of the Health and Wellness Hub, the Healthpreneur Hub on Facebook. Jessica, how you doing?
I'm good. It's so good to see you again.
So good to
I'm
see
excited
you.
to be talking about this. I feel like last week we had a lot of really good and interesting feedback about sharing how in 2025 we really saw this change from influencer to more of an educated expert. And then you shared about using wearable tech. I'm excited for
And
today.
sharing real-time information
Yeah.
between client and trainer. Thank you for that review. As we were going live, I was thinking, what did we say last week? Because I want to make sure that I highlight it. So you guys have Jessica on your show. If you have a show, she's always uber prepared and she just makes you feel like a professional.
Thank you.
Jessica, you were telling me a little bit about a conference that you attended this week. I'd love for you to share a little bit about that here if you've got a second and you don't mind.
Absolutely. And so I am the project manager at the Mental Wellbeing Association. We are the first certification for fitness professionals for them to fully understand the positive and the negative effects that you could have on someone's mental well-being. Now, we're not necessarily specifically talking about mental health, which typically revolves around a diagnosis. We're talking about something that steps before that happens and just your overall mental fitness or mental wellness, as we like to call it. And so I have the opportunity to attend a national conference about mental wellness and mental health in school systems, because we are going to take what we've learned at the Mental Wellness Association. We launched in April to fitness professionals. We're going to take this data that we've learned and really move it into other professions like teachers and counselors based on the science that we have really aggregated and collected for this 20-hour certification for fitness professionals. And so my mind was just really opened and blown away by the content that was presented at this event, actually here in Orlando, where I live, from the National Center for Mental Health for Schools. And it really opened my eyes to what these children and these teachers are going through on a daily basis, and looking at studies and science coming from around the world as to what people are doing in order to really enhance mental fitness and resiliency and social and emotional learnings before they really show as a problem.
Wow, that is fascinating. And I know you were saying that you were just learning so much, you were hearing so much. There's just so much there that we don't always consider. And I know that your tip relates to the same thing. But I'd love for you to say the name of that certification again and tell us where we can find more information about it.
Absolutely. So it's called the Mental Wellbeing Association Certification for Fitness Professionals, because we wanted to include every letter of the alphabet in the name. And you can actually find us at the mentalwellbeingassociation.org. And that is, or you can look up the John W. Brick Foundation. So the John W. Brick Foundation was created by Lynn and Victor Brick to aggregate all of the science that was out there surrounding mental health and mental wellness. And so it produces white papers about other scientific studies nationwide. They typically look at thousands of studies in order to create white papers. that specifically state mental well-being association with movement, with nutrition, with mindfulness, and with social connection. And that's really the foundation of our certification at the Mental Wellbeing Association is how can you as a fitness professional, fitness and wellness professional, tie those 4 pillars into your clients' lives, and in a way that really makes a huge impact on their mental well-being.
Amazing. I love it. Well,
Yeah.
I think that leads us really well into the trends for 2025. But before we go there, will you please introduce yourself, and I'll introduce myself as well, just for the people who don't know.
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. I'm Jess Maurer, and I am a business strategist who can take you from feeling overwhelmed to feeling organized. I work with with brands, with entrepreneurs, with local gyms, and with large educational companies like the Mental Wellbeing Association to bring forth new educational strategies, instructor development programs, and just an overall learning environment for whether it's their consumers or internally with their own onboarding instructors. All right, Kelly, introduce yourself.
And I'm Kelly Coulter. I train instructors, personal trainers, and health and wellness coaches on creating a profitable business model. I am passionate about you guys leveraging your time and making more money and also making more impact in the world without adding work hours to your week. And I do that through a level 1 training that is all about creating programs, and then a level 2 training that's all about creating social media that actually transacts so that you are actually getting clients from the work that you do in your social media. All right. So trend number 2 for Jess Maurer. Let's hear it.
Here is my trend. So we've been really diving into the studies behind mental well-being for the last 2.5 years as we've developed this certification. And what we have seen from studies nationwide, worldwide even, is that 78% of people are working out for their mental well-being. Gone are the days where it's all about sets and reps and weight loss. People aren't coming to the gym because you can promise them they're going to lose 5 pounds in 8 weeks. People are coming to the gym for the instantaneous gratification they get from a workout. They're coming to you for the endorphins that you produce through movement. And we have science that can back that up. We can actually show the equivalation between the causation between movement and statistically saying that you feel better, you're happier, you're more content with your life. And so my trend for you as you move into 2025 is to move away from this idea that people are coming to you for weight loss only, and instead really recognize and hone in on people coming to you for their mental well-being and their mental health. And so what does that look like? Well, that looks like getting rid of marketing efforts that are like lose 5 pounds by a certain date, and instead hone in on marketing efforts that's like, I will make you feel better in 30 minutes. You will leave here.
Feel better today.
Feel better right now. Don't wait 8 weeks. Don't wait until your physical body changes. Take advantage of what movement can do for you right now. Because as you know, Kelly, instant gratification, that's what we're all searching for. That's just human nature. And so the instant gratification you can get from a really great workout is that endorphin rush that makes you produce more serotonin. It's what releases cortisol out of your system. It's what makes you feel more level-headed. I mean, how many times have you gone to the gym just ready to murder whoever walked across your dance floor the wrong way, right? And then you walk out of there and you're just such a happier person. It's not imaginary. There's actual studies and science that show that that is a direct correlation with movement. And so you as wellness professionals, tap into that, use that to your advantage and start changing that narrative.
You know, I think it's really interesting that you said that, because I think as I'm going to speak specifically to those of us who teach fitness or lead workouts. I think we take that for granted because no matter what mood you walk into a room in, you have to turn it on. It's a performance when you start to lead a workout. And so all of us know that that it changes our mood. And I think sometimes we take it for granted that it's part of the job, and we don't realize that it's happening for everyone around us as well. And maybe that's why it's taken the industry so long to start to shift the messaging.
Absolutely. And it's hard to sell happiness. In the past, it's been much easier to sell physical transformation.
It's all anybody wants, and you can't sell it.
Absolutely. It's really hard to have that conversation of like, I promise you will feel happier when you walk, because that isn't qualitative, right? Or excuse me, that isn't quantitative, right? It is qualitative data and research. And so it's hard for someone to say, oh, we promise you that 4 out of 5 people leave here feeling happier. But most people are like, yeah, whatever. But you know what? The science is actually there. We can actually show it through long-term studies of over 10 and 15 years of people who were avid exercisers versus moderate exercisers versus no exercisers. And we can look at the longevity that they have when saying that they're happy with their life. It's a reason why the happiest countries in the world have the most active people. So we have really a lot of quantitative data to go along with this qualitative data. So it is, and you're right. We as fitness professionals, let's face it, we're weird. We think this is fun, but only 25% of Americans agree with us. And so we have to flip the conversation away from sets and reps and turn it into, let's all be better humans.
Oh my gosh. My mind is reeling with marketing examples of what you could do with that, just in terms of, doing social media posts, talking about people feeling happier, talking about how exercise has helped people get through hard situations in their life. All of these sort of things, they really matter. And we all have examples of that. Talk about that also in terms of those of us who are like nutrition coaches, massage therapists. There are all kinds of health entrepreneurs here that help clients improve their health outcomes. So I'd love to talk about some more examples outside of just group fitness.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So at the Mental Wellbeing Association, we have 4 pillars. You know what's so interesting is like we didn't even talk about the association prior to coming on when we were in the green room.
No, we didn't.
It didn't. So if you're watching this was not a planned endeavor.
No, but put it out there.
Absolutely.
If it helps health entrepreneurs, put it out there, please.
Yes. So for the last 2.5 years, we've really been studying how exercise can have an effect on someone's mental well-being. But along with that, we also have to look at lifestyle choices, specifically when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to mindfulness and meditation, and when it comes to social connection. The social connection piece has been the most studied since 2020, thanks to the pandemic. So we as fitness professionals, as wellness professionals, whether you're a nutritionist or you're a massage therapist or you're a wellness worker of some capacity, that social connection that you're bringing into someone's life should not be discredited. It should absolutely, we should reframe it to know that for some of our clients, we're the only person they talk to on a consistent basis, whether you're their personal trainer or their nutritionist. I mean, we're looking at data that shows us that for the most part, wellness professionals speak to clients more than clients speak to any other profession because we see them consistent, unlike other professions. So we have a direct line socially to them to be able to really influence how they feel. If they're feeling supportive, they feel like they have a friend, they have someone to turn to. And it doesn't mean that you have to cross that boundary from professionalism to friend. It doesn't mean that you have to go outside of your scope of practice. You can just start to drop in little tidbits of information of ways that you're bringing them into a social field, that you're having conversations and connections, that you appreciate them. Sharing gratitude to them in those moments is another great way that we can really elevate positivity in a client's life. Now, the nutrition part of this program, I'll be honest, when we first started diving into it, I was very skeptical. And I was blown away by their research that can directly link certain foods to depression, anxiety, serotonin production, feeling.
I'd love to see that.
It was mind blowing. I was able to work with a lot of nutritional psychiatrists, which is this new developing field that really uses food as a way to directly affect someone's physiology and psychology. And it was absolutely kind of like mind blowing to me of the direct correlation between things that we typically think of as the American diet and then rates of depression and anxiety versus studying other cultures that have far less of that Western mentality and looking at their health and wellness. So if you're a nutritionist, there's just a huge avenue for you to dive into that content.
It's always mind-blowing to me that people don't understand that food is medicine, and they really underestimate the connection between how your body feels and the results that you're getting back out of your body. I've been asking people about the cancel Kellogg's movement, and I know I posted about it in the group, and some people were like, I'm not talking to my clients at all about the ingredients in their food. And then some people were like, yes, this needs to happen. I feel like a lot of us get it at least a little bit more, again, inside the health and wellness field than the general average bear out there does. But even within our community, there's not always truly the buy-in that food produces results in your body and in your brain.
Yes. And I think fitness professionals, personal trainers and group fitness instructors, and then wellness professionals, massage therapists and acupuncturists have always been like, oh, it's outside of my scope of practice, right?
You're scared to say anything because you're scared like you don't have the right qualifications and you're going to get dinged in some way.
Absolutely. And so learning as a wellness professional how to look at science, how to look at certifications to really gain education and information, understanding the difference between a scientific study that was published on PubMed versus a scientific study that was published on TikTok. Understanding those two different things can really help a wellness professional be able to have educational conversations. And if you are a wellness professional out there, I really think that, and I shared with this last week, start to look into coaching education courses and motivational interviewing education courses. And like, how do you share content and information to your clients where it doesn't seem like you're lecturing or you're belittling or you're coming off as antagonistic? There are tons of different protocols in the coaching sphere that can teach you how to have these conversations that allow the clients to come to their own realizations. And maybe that way they can stop relying on TikTok so much.
Isn't that what coaching is in general? Like, well, okay, you're feeling this way. What happened before that? And then maybe they're talking about being at McDonald's. Maybe you can dig in on that and let them draw their own conclusions. That's good coaching.
Absolutely. One of my favorite questions to ask my client is, how's that going for you?
Okay, Dr. Phil.
Yeah. So how's that going for you? How's that going for you? You're opening up lines of conversation, and it brings back to that aspect of you're being a social human connecting with another social human.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Great trend. Great tip. I can see how it really can affect, like I said, marketing. It can affect just the way that you approach things. One thing that you started to talk about that I keyed in on was the idea of community and the idea that you may be the only person that your client speaks to on a regular basis. In my programs, of course, I teach about leveraging your time. And so I teach you to create a program, and I like to see it delivered in a small group format. What I see within my clients and within my clients' clients is that when they create these communities, the communities start to feed each other and themselves. And so I want you to consider the idea that a change in messaging, a change in focus in terms of what you're selling your clients to include more of a mental health, more of a wellness, holistic focus can also include a community element, because that does just multiply the results that you're getting in all of the areas.
100%. I was really shocked by learning just how many work from home professionals go all day without speaking to another human. Because we are such a give and take conversation style industry. We don't think about the fact that there are industries that go all day without speaking to people. They're able to do their entire jobs that way. Or they're only looking at a little tiny green dot, right? And they're not actually interacting with humans. And so turning your product into a community as a way that you can support someone's social well-being feels like a definite need for 2025.
Love it. I love it. That is not my tip, though.
No, not your tip.
That's not my trend. The trend that I brought to the conversation today is Similar but different. So I want to talk about um, the result that you promise to your clients. So what we're seeing again is a trend away from talking about being skinny, losing 5 pounds, losing weight in general. I have so many clients that don't even want to say the phrase lose weight.
Yeah.
They don't want to talk about weight at all. And in fitness, what we're seeing is the trend toward strength and balance. So, promising clients that they will be stronger, that they will be able to keep up with grandkids, that they'll be able to get up and down off the floor, that they'll be able to withstand a fall. These are more important to a lot of adults than losing weight. The losing weight piece is really only important to I'm 51, so I'm going to say it, like 25-year-olds who are still on the market. We all want to look good. But the truth is, and we all are seeing it in the fitness industry, strength is going to do more for you in terms of body composition than tons of cardio or high impact ever will. And so the best thing that you can do as a fitness professional is promise strength and incorporate more strength into the work that you're doing with your clients. So trend towards strength. And I think that can also be said for our health and our wellness coaches. Strength does not just mean body strength. When we work on mental resilience, when we work on holistic wellness, things change in your personality.
Absolutely. And let's be honest, when you're working with a nutritionist too, that strengthening of willpower, I mean, that's one of those professions that can really help you strengthen your willpower is working with a nutritionist. It can be life changing because then you can take everything you learned and apply it everywhere else.
True story. When you just start to create small behavioral changes and your brain starts to see nobody died,
Mm-hmm.
it empowers you to create more behavioral changes and from there change your entire life. So
I love that tip so much because I think we've really seen this kind of change over in culturally too, of like it's less about this let's be honest, losing weight is a long-term goal, right?
mhm,
And really kind of flipping the conversation to being, no, I want to help you live longer, live better. I want to help
mhm,
you. I loved your tip about, being able to prevent falls. That's something that we know our active agers are constantly kind of thinking about in certain situations. And so
mhm.
changing that narrative to let's make you stronger is definitely something I think we are going to see in 2025.
Agreed. You guys, I want you to keep in mind that your clients are aging and the active ager population is the biggest population where there is opportunity to make changes in people's lives,
Mhm,
to leverage your time and to make more money and impact in this world.
mhm.
Super
Absolutely.
important. Love
Yeah,
it.
and it's a great tip too if you look at the stats too of like who tends to be happier with their wellness program. It tends to be the people who can incorporate resistance training and strength training into what they do.
Oh, tell me more about why you say that. I want to hear
Yeah,
where that
so
comes from.
we can actually track what participants participate in, what exercise programs they participate in, and we can see a direct drop off if someone is only doing cardio and high intensity training. If they're only
Mhm.
doing HIIT and they're only doing cardio, they last about 6 to 8 weeks. The exception is endurance athletes, and they're not necessarily always considered in this grouping because they're not the average participant, right? They
Mhm.
kind of get moved over into the athlete space. But for our typical participant, if it's something that is more well-rounded, that includes strength training a couple of days a week, mobility training a couple of days a week, integrating more formats, not only are they getting a variety, but they tend to stay longer. We see them stay for about 12 to 16 weeks versus the 6 to 8 for someone who just does cardio.
That's really interesting. So just as a personal experience, I always noticed as a fitness instructor that people would come in the second week of January and they would be gone by the second week of February. So they'd be gone by Valentine's Day. And that really jibes with what you just said. And so with the strength people, yeah, I can see it. I know in my own personal experience, when I'm thinking about a workout, it's much easier for me to just go and stand on the mat and get started when it's going to be a strength workout versus when it's going to be like a cardio workout where you have to kind of like change your mindset and really get into it and jump around and get excited and do all the things.
Mhm.
Strength, you can kind of come as you are.
Oh, absolutely. And when it comes to strength training too, you have to think about like intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. And if you notice, if someone goes in to do a strength training workout, the most that they typically need is music, right? If
Mhm.
you're going for cardio, people are like, my headphones have to be charged so that I make sure I have my podcast loaded so I can skip over to my book in the middle, because there's all these different factors that they have to entertain themselves in order to do.
Mm.
Difference, right? And those two things. But I loved your point of it's not just about lifting weights, it's about emotional fitness as well. It's about that strength that you get from really emotional strength and mental strength.
Hmm. People are looking for it in all of the ways in their lives. We live in a crazy world right now, so
Yeah,
super important.
yeah, we do.
All right, beautiful. So next week we will be back. We will talk more about the trends that we are seeing as effective for health and wellness professionals in 2025. Jess, anything you want to share on the way out here?
Absolutely. As usual, guys, I am the music concierge at Vibes.
Thank
And
you.
so I have a lot of really cool, fun playlists that came out this week that I'm just super excited about. I hope that you can dive in and check them out. Our playlists are created by me, a fitness professional, and I get to test it out in crowds and ask them what they think and what they would change real time in the moment. But the cool thing about Vibes is that you could decide, oh, I hate this second song and I don't like this fourth song either. And you could keep my playlist and then interject your own into it. So
Mhm.
you don't have to start from scratch. You can start from what we've already created. And we have a plethora of things available for you guys if you want to check out the app. We currently are running a winter sale. So if you want to save 25%, you can simply use the coupon code that's listed at vibesmusic.app and save 25%.
Love it. So good. So good. And you guys, for me, if you want to check out more about ways to work with me, right now is a great time to do it because I'm still taking participants into the step-by-step business builder community. And so you can just go to the link that's right below my name right here, learn.fitprosconnect.com/SBS for step-by-step. I'm going to be taking 10 more people into that community, and then we're going to cut that off because that is an experiment. It's a different way of working with me than I've ever offered in the past, and I don't know that I will do it going forward. It's a really low, really accessible price point, and it's a big commitment on my end coming in at the beginning. So we'll see. I'm hoping it's going to be super impactful and that it'll just be uber rewarding for everybody, and that I can keep it going. But I'm taking 10 right now, and what I can say for sure is that I'm going to serve my butt off to you no matter how you come into my programs.
I think that's a really interesting thing we should dive into maybe next Wednesday, is like how 2025 is the year of being brave, of like trying new things, putting yourself out there, being brave about how you're going to change things. I mean, that was a perfect lead in of like, you're changing it up. Let's see if it works. If it doesn't, you're still going to serve your clients in the best way possible. So,
Okay, so challenge for you and me. We're going to come with our bravest trend.
love it. Come join us next Wednesday. We'll be talking about brave, how to be brave.
Love it. I might have to call Christine Conti for that, the queen of split second courage.
Absolutely. That would be really fun.
All right,
Thank you,
Jess.
Kelly, for having me. Thanks for everybody for watching again.
Yeah, thanks for being here. We'll see you next week.
See you next week, everyone. Bye.